My name is Jack Matthews, and I am committed to writing short fiction, short stories, novels as well. And I've written a book called Soldier Boys, which consists of 10 or a dozen short stories, all having to do with the Civil War. These were soldier boys, were indeed boys. They were young by today's standards, certainly. And I'm fascinated by the Civil War, as many people are. My great-grandfather, John A. Matthews, was a private in the 36th OVI, Ohio Volunteer Infantry. And he went in as a private and he came out as a private. I regard that as character. People with less character would rise in the ranks and become officers, but John A. did not do that. The Civil War is the great American Iliad. And these are all books about the Civil War. Many of them are regimental histories which teem with fascinating information. And memoirs written by old dudes, people who survived, and years later, sometimes even in the 20th century, would sit down and write their memories of what happened in those great days. And of course, happiness often happens in retrospect. We go through something and we're occupied with what happens at the time, but then later on we look back upon it and think, those were great times. For one thing, we survived. I'm not a Civil War scholar in the sense that I have expert knowledge on any of the great battles like Antietam or Shiloh. More interested in the daily lives of soldiers, and these will appear mostly in memoirs, of course, and regimental histories. As different as these soldier boys were from the young people today, there are nevertheless certain things that are common to youths, I think, at all times, and to people in all situations. That's the greatest pretense, and I think to some extent a justified one, of universality in fiction. We don't write for an age particularly. We like to think that what we're writing will last beyond the prejudices and the confinements of our generations. The Civil War was a great and dramatic time in itself. Simply knowing that these boys were part of this enormous enterprise adds excitement and gives dramatic emphasis to their daily activities, the things that happened to them.
Jack Matthews wrote several books about 19th century life and the U.S. Civil War. Many of the tales found here have old-fashioned themes and plots and characters. Drama is created by writing and delivering letters. Ghosts have a bad habit of showing up everywhere. And crazy coincidences are always happening to everybody. Soldier Boys is less about the nature of war itself, but how it affects a specific generation of teenage boys, what they talk about, how they coped, how they whittled away their time in between battles. Strangely, there are a lot of comic moments throughout these tales. In one story, Billy Talbert keeps composing his own epitaph in the expectation of dying at the next battle, but then he keeps surviving, much to the consternation of his comrades. My favorite story, Requiem on the Rappahannock, takes place at a hotel where soldiers are relaxing and getting drunk at a party. An army messenger arrives to deliver a very important message, but keeps getting blocked from delivering it. These stories are full of surprises, both comic and tragic.